Lord Callanan, and he's the Energy Efficiency Minister. Let's go to him. And we say hello, good morning to you, Lord Callanan. And energy efficiency is what you want to talk about. You've got a lot of money in terms of grants. Who are you ready to give it to, and why?
Well, there's a number of different schemes, but basically anybody, firstly in terms of those who want to electrify their heating and convert to a heat pump boiler upgrade scheme. The amount of money available for that is being tripled, and you can get a grant of £7,500 if you want to install one. There are also a number of other schemes, some of them available to anybody in council tax bands A to D, and most of them targeted towards those on lower incomes. But energy efficiency is something we feel incredibly passionate about, and we need to improve the energy efficiency of homes in the UK.
And I know a lot of people like yourself talk about heat pumps. What, my dear Lord, is a heat pump, and how is it every house that they are suited to? For instance, if you live in a terraced house, if you live in a flat or an apartment, would a heat pump work for you or not?
Well, a heat pump is effectively a fridge in reverse. That's probably the best way of describing it. But it's a means of electrifying your heating, replacing your gas boiler with an electrically powered, very efficient appliance. They're about 3 times more efficient than gas boilers. We reckon about over 80% of homes in the UK are suitable for a heat pump, but it would very much depend on your individual circumstances.
And how soon will people see this money? Because a lot of families are saying they need help now. Energy bills are still sky high. They are going to be going up again in January when that energy price cap rises, costing families some £94 extra a year. They need help soon, ASAP.
Well, they are getting help. They are getting help, and last winter we supported all families, and we paid about half of everybody's energy bills. Obviously, thankfully, prices have fallen somewhat since then, but we still have the energy price guarantee in place. We're spending about £104 billion of support for those on the lowest incomes. The Warm Homes discount of £150 a year is available to millions of families. Winter fuel payment for pensioners and others. So there is a considerable amount of support out there, but I entirely accept that it is a difficult time for many.
Yeah. You say a considerable amount of support. Can you put a figure on that for us?
We're spending about £104 billion this year on support for those on the lowest incomes.
That's an incredible amount. Obviously, this is something you feel now we've got to take seriously. Now we've got to do this. What is your thinking behind this? Why now?
Well, I mean, these are continuations of schemes that are already in existence. It's an ongoing programme. We're spending also about £6.5 billion over this Parliament. But reducing our energy use, if you can use less of it, very expensive energy, then that's clearly a good thing. So upgrading your property, retrofitting it, fitting insulation is important. But from a wider point of view, the reason that we're seeing such massive spikes in prices is because our own supply of oil and gas from the North Sea are declining. We're having to import more and more, and you saw the massive price spike last winter caused by Putin's invasion of Ukraine. So we need to reduce our usage of imported expensive fossil fuels, and alongside our climate commitments, all of that points towards increased electrification, generating the power that we use here in the UK from solar, from offshore wind, from nuclear, etc. And that requires increased electrification. But it's a transition, and it will take place over a number of years, but government support is there to help you to do it.
Look, Callanan, I just wondered if you could help us, because we've been talking this morning about the five priorities set by the Prime Minister, most of which look like they're going to fail as we approach the end of the year. What do you think is successful?
Well, couple of things. Firstly, the Prime Minister promised to halve inflation by the end of the year, and we've met that target. The Prime Minister has promised to stop the boats. They're down by 30% since he made that promise. We need to go further, which is why we've introduced new legislation into Parliament, the strongest measures on immigration that have ever been proposed. So we're really, really clamping down on these things, and they reflect, I think, what the priorities of the British people are.
Except inflation isn't really to do with the Prime Minister, is it? Inflation going down?
Well, it's a range of different factors. Obviously, the Independent Bank of England is responsible for setting interest rates, but the overall economic management of the country is down to the Prime Minister. To put it another way around, if inflation had gone up, I'm sure you would be wanting to blame him for it.
OK.
Yeah, that's for another day. Thank you, Lord Callanan. Thank you very much indeed. Good talking to you, and stay warm. Joining us now, the Director at Export Unlocked, Richard Bartlett, to analyse what Lord Callanan was saying there in terms of insulation, heat pumps and all sorts of things like that. The government are throwing a lot of money at this, Richard.
Yeah, absolutely, Eamon. Good morning, Eamon. Yeah, they're throwing a lot of money on it, but I think they need to have a clear strategy on this. I think it's all right, announcing lots of money. We've just heard that they're going to be doing this, that and the other. But what does it actually mean, and how are they going to be efficient? These heat pumps cost a lot of money. They might be subsidising it by £7,500 or whatever the figures are saying. But we know then pumps cost between 12 and 18,000, and the actual efficiency takes over 5 to 10 years to actually use efficiency into the carbon footprint. So, a lot of the things, the insulation, we're all for this. We're all for, them supporting consumers to help them. But again, how are they going to do that? What is a clear strategy on this? It's not clear. They just throw money at things. They said they're going to do this. I mean, one thing that people don't realise, heat pumps are actually, most of the heat pumps are imported actually from China. So how does that affect our carbon footprint as we move forward as a country when we're trying to lower our emissions, but yet we're going to be importing lots of these products in?
We think you need a bit of sound insulation, or else I'm the only one going mad here. Is everybody else hearing all this noise? Yeah, what's that noise going on around you? Sounds like a cat being strangled or something.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm in a service station. I've had to pull over and try and get the internet working.
Well, that's good. Well done. That's dedication to duty. Well done to you. £105 billion he was talking about in terms of heat pumps and making those available. Do you believe that? That's a lot of dosh.
No. And where do them heat pumps come from, Eamon? Where are we going to be bringing these? Have we got factories that can supply this, supply and demand? Yeah. How can this actually work? So, yeah, it's a big ask. And, heat pumps come from China. So how does that affect your carbon footprint when you bring it in? You've still got a supply chain. It's one of the big issues there. Can you keep up to the supply chain?
Yeah, that's it. Richard, we've got to leave you there. Thanks, really, really appreciate you pulling into that service station, mate, but the noise has beaten us there. Thank you very much indeed for your analysis of the government's plans as regards helping us all become more energy efficient. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
That was very good of him, though, wasn't it?
Very good. Very
He gave it a go.